Hello everyone and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 67. Today is Sunday, November 30th, 2014. And I'm glad that you guys are joining me today. It is gorgeous. It's apparently, what is it? So it's sunny and 70 something. Tomorrow it's going to be 40, but today it's sunny and 70. So the weather is aligned nicely for the weekend. And I've survived my epic Thanksgiving travels. There was a, what was it? When, as I was getting off the plane, to, in Charlotte before going to Buffalo, the crochet hook I needed in order to put beads into my moonstone shawl fell out somewhere in the plane, and we were in such a hurry to get off the plane that so that crochet hook was totally lost. But other than that, I think that was the only snafu on the entire trip, so can't complain about that. And snafu is probably an acronym for something way worse than what actually happened. So a crochet hook that, yeah, not a big deal. But because I lost my crochet hook and I was expecting to mostly be working on the shawl, I got tons done on the sock and tons done on spinning, so can't complain there. No finished objects. Oh, and I do have a little bit of a laugh to show you guys. So this is how far I am on my sock. These are socks that I am knitting for my grandpa. That is out of wool misa in 3 colorways. It is, what is it? So Wazarats, Grafrats, and Dora. And it is coming along. See, that's an awful lot of sock there. In terms of how much sock I have left to go, I can hold it up to the other sock. So, it looks like I'm almost done. Can you guys even see? So, make sure I'm holding everything appropriately. Sorry there. My yarn is just all over the place. So, I probably have another color repeat left to go. I think the shape of the sock ends up distorting it a little bit, or the toe ends up distorting the shape of the sock a little bit. But it looks like I'm not too far from completing these bad boys, which should be lovely. So if we hold them heel to heel, what is it? Yeah, I probably have another, maybe not even another color repeat left to go. So that's good. Almost done. Get the toe and be good to go. My yarn is currently a mess right now, so oh, drop that. So I have this much of my variegated Wazarats, this much, which isn't all too much, and it's a giant tangled mess at the moment, of the Grafrats. And then I'll have probably enough for an entire other sock of the Dora. There's a lot of Dora left, which is awesome because I really like this blue color. So that is the story there. So I'm almost done. I bet next week I can show you guys a finished object, and wouldn't that be exciting? And there should be a lot of knitting time this week, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Oh, I have to tell you the funny story. So, I was wearing these socks yesterday, so this is what a sock looks like after I've worn it. This is my first pair of cranberry biscotti socks, and I'll just bring it really close to the camera and you can see. So there are a lot of slip stitches on this. Now what I'm going to do is hold it up to what I've been knitting. So I'm not knitting the pattern right at all. Apparently I remembered what the pattern was and I didn't think too much to read it more carefully, but I was supposed to have 2 plain rows of the other color before moving on to a slip stitch row, not just 1. So I made a linen stitch sock instead of a cranberry biscotti sock. So, whoopsies. I'm not fixing it because that was a lot of man sock to knit and I'm nearly done. But I do feel a little bit silly when I pulled it out. I'm like, wait a second, something's not quite right. So I do highly recommend the pattern. So what I'm knitting it out of is 2 solids and 1 variegated. But this one is 2 variegateds and 1 solid, and since it was Lorna's, so it was 2 colors of Lorna's laces and 1 which was Swoosh Fiber Arts. And it really does fantastic things with blending the colors together and stuff like that. So it's a really fun pattern for leftovers, and it really, what I really like about it is that it could take 2 totally crazy pans of variegated yarns and shell them out a little bit. So I just thought that was interesting. I did get some progress done on my moonstone shawl, despite losing the crochet hook on the plane. Like, honestly, I was just about ready to do a bead row, and I'd had my bead hook out for the entire plane flight and didn't even use it, so I feel even more silly for losing the crochet hook. But I managed to get a bit further along in the pattern. So, so I'm now to the row where I need to add some beads to this, but this is where I am. So there you go. So it's growing. It still fits pretty nicely onto my needle. The pattern is still an adventure because pretty much I haven't really memorized it at this point. And the interesting thing that I actually found out was that the full pattern repeat ends up creating 2 pattern repeats after you're done. So that was, so you get a full repeat on this side and a full repeat from the center. And it's probably getting to the point now where I want to put markers at the very least at the center stitch so I know where I am in this. But it grows. I probably would have knit on this more this weekend, but it's probably good that my grandpa's socks are getting some love. And I got my replacement crochet hooks, so it turns out that the Susan Bates 10, which is a 1.15 millimeter, ends up is small enough for my 8/0 beads, and you can see the boy ones had a thicker shaft, so I wasn't able to fit as many beads onto the boy one, and the boys one didn't have as lovely a little hook on it, so I figured that. And the one I lost was a Susan Bates. I think it was a 12 or whatever, a steel 12, which is a 1 millimeter, but the 1.15 is small enough. Maybe the 1 millimeter is small enough for my 10/0 beads. Who knows? But this only ended up costing me $5 today, so I was pretty excited about that. It was supposed to be $10 for this set, so I feel a little bit stupid that I lost 1 crochet hook and then I had to buy 6, but it's what I needed in order to put the beads on. And I definitely prefer doing it that way. And I am enjoying working with the yak silk yarn. It is still fun and still pretty straightforward to do. So good stuff there. I guess I'll throw a little stash positions into my knitting section. So I can now work on the project again. What was it? We flew Wednesday afternoon into the night. And really the only time I got to work on it was sitting on the plane going to Charlotte from Dallas. So, oh well, such is life. My coffee wasn't very hot, so I just need to finish that guy off. I did get a lot of spinning done. Like, I pretty much spun the entire day Thursday. It was, which perhaps says quite a bit about what sort of yardage I'm going to get here, dear God. Because basically, I think, whatever, the rate is always the same for me spinning with a spindle. It's going to be one armful, whatever, one arm length at a time. But this is how far I am unplying the Redfish Dye Works, some superwash merino silk. So, ooh, ah. So I think at this point I have a lot of colors peeking through there. So it's got an eggplant purple, a sky blue, some darker bits as well. And I'm very nearly done applying it. Like I kept checking on the ball and was like, am I there yet? So I'm close. It won't be too much longer. I'm gonna have like yarn barf soon. The end is near. I'm guessing I'm gonna run out of this guy first, but I brought my yarn scale with me just so that I wouldn't lose my sanity, but I ended up spinning 3 ounces, or applying 3 ounces of this Thursday, so it was pretty impressive. So my yarn scale, it's a pot scale. I put the clean cover on because that was a lot better than the cover they actually had on that. So how much do I have left? So I have 21 grams left, which is basically 3/4 of an ounce. So almost there, but not quite. So I'll just keep spinning away on this. Perhaps there'll be some time for podcast viewing today, because I'm pretty far behind right now because I didn't. It's been busy lately. So so it is turning out quite lovely. You can see all the pretty colors here. And where'd my bag go? Oh, there it went. So it's coming along. I guess I didn't end up getting nearly as much spinning done in the airport as I would have expected, but such is life. So maybe next week I'll have a finished skein of yarn. I'll just finish all of the things. And I did say last week that I was going to work on my chocolate Shetland fleece. And it was the case where I needed to quick throw something in my bag to work on. And plying was a lot less messy than taking roll-logs along that couldn't be squished. And then ended up producing little gross yarny bits on it, so I decided to hold off. At least for the time being. So I will, once I finish that, I'll probably end up starting a skein of the chocolate Shetland fleece. I'll have to figure out what my next spin's going to be after that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Or maybe I just need to do a lot of concentrated effort on the chocolate Shetland fleece, since that is the big item. And the more skeins I finish, the more I'll be or the more that'll be done for the Spin the Bin challenge. So the Redfish Dye Works fiber wasn't a part of the Spin the Bin. At this point, the only thing that is a part of the bin is the chocolate Shetland Fleece. So the more skeins I finish on that, the better things will be. But I didn't end up bringing that down. I didn't even go upstairs today to pull that out. So we have now reached the part of the show where I show my stash positions. I came across a really awesome D-stash. So a lot of times in D-stashes, Woolmisa ends up going for like $30 a skein for multi-skeins. But these were $25 shipped in the US, so I'm like, gonna go for it. So what I have are 3 skeins, which I ended up getting in D-stash. So I have, what is it? Lowinzon? We'll just say that. Well, so this is a 2-color multi. It has a sunny yellow and a Kelly green. It is quite pretty. I figured it would get me out of my jewel tone multi kick. I also have no whale watching in Colorado. And this has a tealy blue, a royal blue, and a lot of white. And I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. And then I have La Gitane. Gitane? I don't know. I'm guessing it's sort of Frenchy. So this has white and a bright purple and black. So, I don't even know if you guys can even see the purple on the screen, but like this section right in here, that's purple. So it was sort of hard to pass up good prices on multicolored yarn because it can normally command quite a lot more on D-stashes, and I don't have the fast fingers to get it on the update from Germany because that would be more like $25 shipped. So yeah, what can you do? So, and I will actually be swapping one of these skeins away because I'm doing the Woolmisa for All Seasons Christmas swap again. So I'll be surprised which one goes. And that'll actually be quite a lot of fun. I'm probably going to be stalking my swap partner like today and figuring out what it is she wants, even though, or what is it? Figuring out what it is she wants, and then on Wednesday I'll go to my local yarn store and pick something up that's nice for her. And then I'll ship it off, and it'll be good fun. Yay! So I tend to be pretty simple about my swap packages. I just throw in a couple of big things which I hope they'll like, and normally it seems to turn out fairly well. So it's exciting. We'll see if I can throw in any special Texas things, even though I'm not sure if I really know what's special in Texas. Let's see. Anything else I wanted to talk about? Yeah, I can't really think of anything. Which, I know, it's been plenty of love for a podcast. So, what is it? So, hopefully I'll have 2 finished things to show you guys next week. Hopefully I can finish up the yarn and sock, maybe even today while I'm doing podcast watching and stuff, in between, like, raking leaves. Yeah, I think that's everything, so I should be able to record next week. I believe that'll be the 7th of December, but I can check. You can look at the calendar. If the calendar will come up. Come on, calendar. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be the 7th. Oh well, we'll just say that it's going to be the 7th, and I can check later. or I can put the updated thing on the blog. I didn't end up, what is it? Never mind. So, yeah. So I should be recording 7th. Alright. The calendar did finally come up, and I can switch the month to December. And Sunday will be the 7th. So, we'll go with that. So, I should be able to record next Sunday, December the 7th, and I hope you guys have a lovely week. So, take care, guys. Bye-bye.